Hey, Alan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Carrie. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking some time to hop on a call with me and share a little about your experience with Membrain and Fox and Crow. So, tell us a little bit about Agilitec and how Membrain is helping you sell.
Sure, no problem. I founded Agilitec 18 years ago. We're based in Las Vegas, Nevada. We started as an MSP, was not called an MSP at the time, but we did a lot of maintenance contracts, proactive work, and break fix block hours. Evolved with the times and the industry and grew the MSP to, I think, a peak of about 45 employees at one time. We've become more efficient since then, have a smaller staff at this point, but we are focused heavily on the Microsoft 365 environment and automation and integrations with primarily co-managed environments, internal IT departments.
Great, that's efficiency's good.
Is that good? Yeah, yeah. I'm still working on the marketing thing.
So, tell me a little bit about the things that you tried before the MSP sales process.
I'm not sure if I can count as many different sales systems that we've used over the time. It's always been owner-led sales here, right? I'm the primary salesperson, primary closer. I've built relationships, and that's primarily how we've grown, referrals, relationships. We've used HubSpot. We've used a number of different CRMs. And while we all know CRMs are just CRMs, there's no systems in place there. I've made bad sales hires as well at the high end and at the low end. I've tried different frameworks, different coaching programs, but I would say Membrane's a little different because it incorporates a lot of all of the above. There is a tool system in place, but there's also the coaching aspect. And I really like how simplified it's laid out. It makes sense to me without training, even. And I like the idea of breaking it out into prospecting, people that we don't know and that don't know us, and then becomes sales once we have that first time appointment. And that makes sense. We've got some metrics and qualifiers around that. All of that is easy to understand and see. Then we move into account growth. I'll leave the coaching side out of it because that's still important. But to me, those three pieces really made sense to us and how we operate and how we grow our existing accounts because it's difficult work as an MSP to acquire a client to begin with. It takes a lot of time, effort, work. But where I found that a lot of systems dropped off is once they become a client, how do we ensure we're still maintaining and growing that account and relationship? It's always better to keep one than try to find new ones. And so we put a lot of focus into that account growth area and make sure that we're continuously staying in front of our clients and providing value and ultimately growing the MRR with that client. I think Membrane has helped us do that in a simplified manner.
You mentioned that it made sense to you right out of the box. The version of Membrane that you're working in is the Fox and Crow customized version that Ian built out.
Yes.
The sales process was built the way you would build a process for service delivery or any other process. When I first started using Membrane, it didn't feel the same as HubSpot or Salesforce, where it's just a very simple, here's every time I've interacted with the contact, and here's when I have to interact with them next. What was the major difference for you?
I think it is. I think you hit on something key there is that Membrane is just the platform, just like HubSpot is just the platform. And those tools are only as good as the configuration. Ian with Fox and Crow did was take the MSP sales process and account growth process and layer it on top of a platform that is very modular and modern. And while he took an engineering mindset to it, he didn't over engineer it. Sometimes you hear engineering and you think overcomplicated, too many options. I think he put in a good amount of guardrails so that it's valuable for not just the sales resource, if you have sales admins or BDRs or SDRs, but also the owners, sales managers, and leaders have oversight, easy oversight on what's happening with this prospect, what's happening with this sales opportunity, what's happening with this account. Easy for us all to collaborate without a heavy amount of training. It just made sense without having to dig through knowledge base articles. That was the problem with a lot of other systems. Maybe it's because we didn't pay a boatload of money to Salesforce or HubSpot, which ultimately is what's required to make those tools hum. Those are good tools, I'm sure, in certain environments, but you have to customize them to your needs. I think Fox and Crow's done a great job implementing that best practice solution already by utilizing prior history of sales processes from the owners and slotted that into Membrain. It just makes sense to the team that we have. Right now, our sales team is 3 people. We're able to collaborate in an efficient manner and hand off things as needed. And it's easy enough. I appreciate the modern platform with Membrain because it's easy. Fox and Crow's done a great job at putting in initial processes and templates and guidelines. It's very easy to come in and customize it to your own need because ultimately every company is a little bit different target markets, different processes. And we took a simple crawl, walk, run approach to it. Start simple, see what's working, adjust as needed. And the time we've used it, it's reduced the amount of back end conversations that we've had to have and check-ins and what's going on with this account. Maybe to bring it back a little bit, we also tried using our PSA as a sales management tool. And let's just say that's never worked well at all because no PSA is a good sales tool. It just doesn't exist.
No, they really
And so
weren't built
again,
for that. And
no,
just for people who are listening today, Membrain has an integration to ConnectWise now, which is pretty exciting.
bolting it into Halo, right? We're integrating certain components into Halo, but I think it's that transition. A lot of MSPs think about, do you have to bolt everything in your sales CRM into your PSA? My answer to that is no, but we move things over once it's an account. And once it's an account, that's great, but I don't want a bunch of garbage in my PSA
The
either.
PSA gets so cluttered.
Right.
You have to figure out some cheat codes to use ConnectWise in a meaningful way to find follow-ups. There's some lazy ConnectWise usage where instead of starting a new ticket, in this case, it's a sales conversation, they just add to the previous conversations. The minute you
Yeah.
get to a point where you've got to manage back-end KPIs for multiple reps, everything falls apart.
I couldn't see how that would work. That whole ticketing framework just doesn't work for a sales CRM. So yeah, it's trying to bolt it into something that built for customer support. None of them will work efficiently that way.
What's your favorite feature?
Favorite feature. I think it's overused maybe in this term, but I'll bring it back and overuse it again. It really is maybe a single pane of glass kind of view. When I say that, just completely overused, but it is true in this manner. I look back at other CRMs and it's like, where do I go now? I created this record. What do I do with it now? By bringing up Membrain and seeing everything, it's so simple but powerful at the same time. And it's easy to look at everything that's in your view, depending on what your focus area is. If I'm working on account management and account growth, I can see the prioritizations, I can see things that are overdue. It's very simple. I don't have to dig around anywhere. I think that was the problem with a lot of other systems. So much training is needed to even know where to go. What's the next step after I do this thing? I'd say that my favorite feature is how easy it is to use in the end. That's what I want from a tool or a system, is that it's simple and easy to use, requires very little training, and gives us easy oversight. The more time I spend figuring out how to work with my tools, less time I'm actually doing real work.
Yeah, I think it's a great place to stop.